Thomas Stearns Eliot, T.S. Eliot, has written this poetic play, Murder in the Cathedral, in the beginning of the 20th century. What are the thematic concerns of this play? We want to discuss the major idea, the theme of martyrdom presented by T.S. Eliot in this play. We see that T.S. Eliot is a Nobel Prize modern author. He was a poet, a critic, and a dramatist who lived in the beginning of the 20th century, and he has been acclaimed unanimously by the historians and critics as one of the most influential and important dominant literary personality of English literature. As far as writing poetry is concerned, then T.S. Eliot is remembered by his two most important poems, The Wasteland and Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. In the same manner, as far as writing drama is concerned, we remember him because of his immense contribution in the form of The Cocktail Party, Murder in the Cathedral, Cats, The Rock, and so many other plays. All in all, you can say that he is an important literary personality of the first half of the 20th century English literature. Now let's start the discussion of Murder in the Cathedral. See, this play was first published and performed in 1935 during the yearly Canterbury Festival. Okay, it expresses a religious story. It projects the story of a biblical saint, Saint Thomas Becket, and it presents the conflict between good and evil. So the whole drama, you can say, is a morality play. Another important thing about this drama, this play, is that it has been written in the olden Greek classical style. Okay, and it is a poetic play, not a prosaic play. So T.S. Eliot has actually followed the Greek classical style of writing the play in the form of poetry. Now, in the beginning of the play, chorus has been presented as one character here, okay, who plays an important role in describing various events, in narrating various events which are not acted upon on the stage. So through chorus in the beginning of the play, we come to know that Thomas Becket and King Henry II, okay, they were in good terms, they were good friends, intimate friends, and then Becket was appointed the Archbishop of Canterbury, and but then after that appointment, Becket started revolting and rebelling against King's authority and power. So, slowly and gradually there were conflicts between the two friends, Henry the King and Thomas Becket, the Archbishop. Now, this brought about a tension in their friendship, and then Thomas Becket was exiled for 7 years. He went to France, and now he is about to come back to the Canterbury, to the cathedral, and there at this point of time the play begins. Okay, so this is the background story, that two friends, okay, then there was a tension. Thomas Becket leaves that place for 7 years and comes back, and then the drama begins. The central idea, the major important idea, is the idea of Christian martyrdom. So you need to understand what this martyrdom is. Martyrdom means the act of suffering and death of a martyr for a noble cause. Okay, a martyr is someone who sacrifices his own life for a noble cause, for the betterment of the society. According to Catholic theory, there are four important characteristics of a martyr. Number one, he should sacrifice his life and accept death. Number two, death is thrust upon him due to hatred towards Christian life and truth. Okay, so one who becomes a martyr, he sacrifices his life for a noble cause. Number one. Number two is that death is thrust upon him, just like Jesus Christ, was killed in those days. In number 3, he should voluntarily accept death to defend the Christian life. And number 4, his life and death cleanses the world of the evils and sins. Okay, see, our world is full of evils, our world is full of sins, and a person comes who sacrifices his life in order to purify this world of these sins and evils. So if you examine this Catholic theory, if you apply all these 4 points on the life of Saint Thomas Becket, then we can say that he is indeed a true martyr. Why? Because we find all these 4 qualities in the personality and in the life of Thomas Becket. The theme of the play is that whenever the sins of the world abound beyond some limits, whenever people have spiritual apathy, that means whenever people start losing their faith in God, in Christianity, there is always one who comes to rescue the world from the evils. Okay, just like Jesus Christ, and this person is known as the incarnation of Jesus Christ, who comes to purify the cruelties of this world, who comes to keep the world away from all evils and sins. He is the man who becomes a martyr, who sacrifices his life to free the world from the sins, and he establishes a new significance of the church. In Bhagavad Gita also, in Indian philosophy, in Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna has also expressed the similar kind of message. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttaram adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Means whenever the sins abound in this world, on that moment I will come to destroy the all evils and to save the goodness in this world. So Becket also, just like Lord Krishna said, he also comes, he takes birth on this earth, and he goes against the cruelties of King Henry II, and his final death is presented in the play, which establishes the faith among the people. So you can say that Eliot has avoided the idea of presenting the personal conflict. So the conflict between Henry II and Thomas Becket should not be taken a personal conflict. It is actually, the play actually takes place within. Okay, so the conflict which is presented is the inner conflict, and that inner conflict is the conflict between good and evil. There is no action actually which takes place in the play. Only one action, that is the murder of Thomas Becket. But the before Thomas Becket is murdered, the conflict that takes place within the mind of Thomas Becket, how the 4 tempters come and they try to tempt Thomas Becket towards a worldly life, towards some worldly pleasure and power, and how he refuses them. This conflict which goes on in the mind of Becket, that makes the drama interesting. Okay, at the end, you see, if you examine the life of Thomas Becket, in his early life he enjoyed all pleasure, power and worldly material things, but then towards the later part of his life, he renounces all these pleasures. Okay, and he adopts a spiritual life, and now no one can tempt him towards that worldly life. So that is the essence of the message that Thomas Becket wants to convey through his martyrdom. Okay, this idea of martyrdom is reflected in the words of chorus at the end of the play. You mark these words: we thank thee. Thee means Thomas Becket. We thank you for the mercies of blood, for your redemption by blood, for the blood of thy martyr and saints shall enrich the earth, shall create the holy places. So the chorus says that the blood of these martyrs and saints, they will create holy places on this earth. Eliot has used 3 important conventions in order to express this theme of martyrdom, and they are chorus, number 2, interlude, and number 3, the four tempters. Let's see them one by one. As I told you, Eliot has followed the classical tradition of writing drama, and in classical drama, chorus plays an important role. So here also the thoughts about martyrdom have been expressed by chorus time and again in the beginning of the play and also at the end of the play. Mark these words when chorus says, "For whenever a saint has dwelt," dwelt means stayed. For whenever a saint has stayed, whenever a martyr has given his blood for the blood of Christ, that is holy ground, and the sanctity shall not depart from it. Okay, so all in all, chorus expresses the importance of a martyr on this planet. Number 2, Eliot has also used the convention of an interlude. Now, as you see, this play is written in parts. Part 1, then part 2, but in between these two you have one interlude. In this interlude, Becket delivers a sermon. A sermon means a religious lecture to the people who were present there in the cathedral, in the church. So he knows that he is going to be killed by these four tempters, and that's why he says that this is my last lecture. And in the last lecture he urges, he requests, and he appeals the people to follow the path of Christianity. And this sermon also advances the theme of Christianity and martyrdom. The third important convention is the use of four tempters. Okay, the four tempters try to tempt Becket to adopt the life of worldly pleasure, power, and glory, but then he refuses them all and he establishes the victory of spiritual life over the material life. This scene also projects and advances and strengthens the theme of martyrdom. So through these three conventions, the theme of martyrdom has been developed by T.S. Eliot very successfully in this play. So let me conclude this whole discussion by saying that martyrdom, sainthood, and Christian life, they constitute the central idea of this play, Murder in the Cathedral. This play is not just regarded as a dramatization of Beckett's murder. Rather than that, it should be studied as a conflict between good and evil, the conflict between the worldly power and spiritual power. And the play wants to say that always spiritual power wins over the worldly power, and this is presented by the idea of martyrdom of Saint Thomas Becket. I hope this discussion is helpful to you from your examination point of view. Please do share this among your friends and classmates. Thank you for watching.